Wait, there's a depression coming? Oh God, what am I going to do during this economic depression to be able to support and help my family? Hey my dudes, how's it hanging? It's your boy, ZNF1 here. Today I want to talk with you guys about I-bonds or inflation bonds and kind of what they are and why exactly they're such a good thing for preppers like us, survivalists in our modern day society. But before we go on and get into this though, let's cue intro. Alrighty, so it's predicted that a economic depression is going to hit us here in the US in the near future. It's always a good idea to get some form of financial protection to help you guys in times like these, especially when we have inflation as high as it is. I-bonds are a great way to help protect you and your family financially during times like these. Now, you might be asking, what are inflation bonds? Well, they're kind of like savings, but when you invest in these, you gain money over time. It's kind of like stocks, but with these, you are protected from inflation, unlike with said stocks. These are great because as the inflation rises and saps money out of us plus the stock market, we are protected with these. And they also happen to be backed by the National Treasury. Now with these, you can get a 10K max per year amount because they're intended for small businesses and not big conglomerates. That's just electronically. These are more specifically for small investors and business owners, you know, average everyday folk. However, you can buy these as gifts for other people in your household as well too. Alrighty, so the second thing is that there is a 1-year minimum holding time. If you happen to break the 5-year holding time that they generally set, you will have to give up 3 months worth of your investment in that bond. So say you get $1,000 worth and inflation rate's 10%. You would end up giving up 30% of what you made in that entire calendar year because you took it out before the 5-year mark that they generally have for people. And the third thing that we need to know is that the rate changes every 6 months on inflation. So your interest rate changes every 6 months due to being tied to inflation. Now, the inflation rate is adjusted 2 times a year by the National Treasury, which is May 1st and on November 1st. Now, when you buy one of these inflation bonds, the inflation rate at which you buy them at is what you will get for the following 6 months. For example, if you were to buy one today, you'd get an interest rate of 8.5% on the total amount that you bought a bond for the next 6 months. So you'd be gaining 8.5% until the next adjustment period. For instance, if you were to get $1,000 worth of these I-bonds, you would get a interest rate or a gaining rate of 8.5%. for the next 6 months. So 8.5% of 1,000 is 85, and if we multiply it by 6, at the end of the 6-month period, you would have over $510 gained in interest. That's just money working for you. Isn't that fucking awesome, man? You gotta like find ways to make passive income because that's what all those billionaires and those at the top of the world do. As much as I don't like a lot of the shitty, greedy ones that are out there, this is what they do, and it's extremely smart that they do it. You can buy these electronically or in paper at face value of the bond or the amount. So if you're to buy them electronically, you can buy them to the penny amount of anything that is $25 or more. So for instance, you buy $27.27. For the paper versions of these I-bonds, they are sold in 5 denominations of 50, 100, 200, 500, and 1,000. Now, it's worth mentioning that within a full physical calendar year, you can gain a whopping 10K electronically in these I-bonds, or on the paper route, you can gain a whole 5K in paper I-bonds. Now, there is one more way in which you can get even more of these I-bonds, and that's to smash the fuck out of that like button and subscribe button. Now, all joking aside, whenever you do this, it really does help out the channel, and it helps to get us further out there in the algorithm to help other people as well, in addition to, you know, helping people become more self-reliable and independent of the systems, saying, fuck you. Other notable information you should know is that these limitations that they have on the I-bonds are applied separately between the electronic and the paper forms. So you can get 10K in electronic I-bonds and 5K in paper ones. Now that is, again, in a 1-year cycle. So you can't get more than that 15K in a year. Bonds you buy for yourself and ones you receive as gifts or by transfers count towards this limit too. However, there are a few exceptions to these rules. These two exceptions are bonds transferred to you due to the death of the original owner does not count towards your limit. Like if a family member, friend, etc. died and it was given to you in their will. The other exception is if you own paper bonds issued before 2008, you can convert it to an electronic I-bond in your Treasury Direct account, regardless of the bond amount. The annual limit before 2008 was greater than today's $10,000 total. You might be asking yourself, or have at some point during this video, how are these limits applied? Well, they are applied per social security number of the first person named the, in quote, owner of a bond, or for an entity per employer identification number, or EIN. Some of you guys that have been working for a while and done your taxes know what that number is. These are very great investments as long as inflation keeps sticking around, which it's showing it's not really going to go anywhere for a while. And it's protected against that. So it's a pretty good thing. You get to gain money for one because of inflation, and two, you're protected. It's a 2-for-1 deal. However, the downside to this would be if deflation occurs, which I don't really see that happening too often, or I haven't seen it happen too often my whole life since I started paying attention to the stuff as a teenager. From what I have gathered through observations, deflation generally happens slowly. It's not just a sudden drop. So, I mean, honestly, either way, as long as you're paying attention to economics somewhat and what the billionaires and like all the people at the top of the finance world are doing, then you should be square. People like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, etc. Now, again, these are really good as long as the inflation rate keeps up. It was at its highest in U.S. history, reaching a 9.1% inflation rate over the course of the past year. And that was recorded in June of 2022. It has decreased a little bit to 8.5% currently, so it's still a decent amount that you could be gaining in interest for purchasing these I-bonds. And when you do this, you're helping to ensure that your family has finances when many others would not, simply because they didn't bother to research ways to which they could benefit from this, or, you know, they have the victim mindset of, oh, I need this, or I need to rely on the system. Well, here on this channel, what are we about? Being independent of the system. So you bet your ass we had to do something on this shit. So if you want to protect you and your family's finances so you're not just having to rely on a crummy 9-to-5 job or just your career in general, you gotta sit here and invest money in other places that'll make income for you passively. That's, again, how all those billionaires make so much money. They do it passively. When you do that, you're protecting yourself and your family to be more well equipped to deal with these financially struggling times, and putting you more in a position to gain more power and to hold it so you can provide for you and those you care for. Now, obviously, there are other ways you can do this too, and that'd be things like growing your own food, canning, etc., because when things happen like this and food shortages hit a certain point, people are not going to know what to do, and they'll end up turning to people who are advertising, hey, I have all these vegetables I can. Do you guys want any, you know? And, you know, going to their communities to rely and get food, etc., and resources that they need. kind of how we initially were meant to. Where I'm more supportive of local businesses than big business, because big businesses generally just cares about money and doesn't really give a shit about everyday people. So yeah, I want to support small businesses and everything else because they're part of my local communities. You got to support the local communities if you want to see your community thrive and do better. It helps you to do better generally and have more opportunities. Alrighty, so that's gonna be it for us today though, my dudes. If you guys did make it to the end of this video, go ahead and leave the word inflation in the comment section down below. Let me know that you made it to the end and you're part of the 100% Club. If you guys want a more interactive experience, come join us on streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Central Time over on Twitch or on my main YouTube channel. I'll have links for that down below. But we talk about stuff like this, conspiracies, dark humor, share memes, you know, I rage at people for being stupid, so it's funny. But yeah, so if you guys want that, check that out, or check out my Discord. I have movie nights every other Friday, so this coming Friday I will have one. But yeah, if you guys want a more interactive experience, go ahead and check those out. We'd love to have you guys involved in that stuff too. Again, if you guys did enjoy this content, please don't forget to smash the fuck out of that like button. Comment down below, let us know what your opinions are, and or subscribe. Whenever you do this, it helps us to get further up in that algorithm, in addition to helping others understand it's okay to, you know, think differently. In addition to, you can be independent of these systems that we live in. Have a little bit more community with those around you, and it's amazing what the fuck you can do. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Until next time though, my dudes, please don't forget to live long and prosper, take care and peace, and keep it 1,000,000% real. I'll see you guys on the flip side.